You can support this podcast at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. A woman and a private eye search for the young survivor of a suburban gas explosion and find themselves in the middle of a government conspiracy. We'll talk about Apple TV's Down Cemetery Road, starring Emma Thompson and Ruth Wilson. Joining me to get that done and more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories podcast, my husband and the love of my life, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Happy anniversary, Rebecca.
Yes, happy anniversary to you, too. It's our 16th.
Wow.
It is our 16th anniversary today.
What'd you get for me?
What did I get for you? Oh, wait till you see what I got for you.
Okay, can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. Also with us is private investigator, certified pet detective, resident cat lady, and author of the Piper Green series of cozy mysteries, Laura Bricker. Hi, Laura.
Hello, Rebecca.
And finally, all the way from Valencia, Spain, author of the City Trilogy, host of Rip Current, More Like Ancient Aliens, and the podcast soon to be a major motion picture, Strange Arrivals. It's Toby Ball. Feliz Año, Toby.
Feliz Año, Rebecca.
Toby, are you going to take part in the 12 Grapes of Luck that they do in Valencia?
Yes.
What?
It's a ceremony or a tradition where people take 12 grapes and they're supposed to eat one with every chime of the bells at midnight on New Year's Eve.
Oh, interesting. I think we're going somewhere. There's some unreal amount of fireworks and explosives that they're going to let off in the course of 15 minutes from 3 different locations in Valencia.
Yeah.
If there's one thing about Valencia is they love their pyrotechnics and explosives. Did I tell you about Fias?
No.
In March, they have I think it's 1 week, it's possibly 2 weeks, but they have a festival. It's called Fias. And apparently there's no time, day or night, without fireworks or explosions going off in the city.
I would hate that.
And they're just like, if you have a dog, just get out of the city. There's no way to keep it from traumatizing your dog. So just leave. And it just goes on. And people are just like, block parties. The place is going bananas. And then there's fireworks. And this kid was he's like, oh yeah, there'll be like 6 or 7 year old kids walking around with Roman candles. And I'm like, holy shit, that sounds awesome. And then all during the year, like in neighborhoods, like it's not even like big neighborhoods, but like these little block areas will create these floats, but they're not on wheels. They're just like these creations, like I guess out of wood and paper mache and stuff. And it's usually like people, like there's probably be Donald Trump ones or whatever. And then on the last day of Fias, they all get lit on fire and burned. So throughout the city, these things are burning in these different squares. Yeah, it sounds
It's like
crazy.
the Wicker Man. Don't get caught in one of those things.
My barber was like, it's the best festival in the world.
Okay.
He's like, it is so much fun. But I guess they're getting a little taste of that on New Year's when they set off an incredible amount of gunpowder in 15 minutes to ring in the new year.
Incredible.
I'll definitely get those grapes. Everybody's going to need a dozen grapes.
12 grapes or else shit's going to go badly.
Supposed to bring you luck for the year.
Don't swallow them whole. All right, Kevin, what's coming up on next Monday's program?
Yeah, on Monday, we're going to talk about the latest in that mystery film series from Knives Out. It's Wake Up, Dead Man on Netflix.
I bet Toby is just champing at the bit.
He loves himself some good Knives Out, yeah.
Oh, he hates that so much. Well, sorry, Toby.
It's going to be better than this shit that we're about to discuss, I'm sure.
All right, should we talk about this shit then?
Let's do it.
All right, leading off.
Little girl was saved by a wardrobe. Closet her bed fell straight through the floor. Wardrobe fell on top of her. Doors open.
Wardrobe? Seriously?
Bloody miracle.
Firefighters think it's a gas main.
Jesus. After her neighborhood is rocked by a gas leak explosion, Sarah Trafford discovers a young survivor has been erased from press coverage and stashed away by authorities. Sarah enlists a pair of private eyes to get to the bottom of what's happened to the child.
Let me guess. You've got a husband, he's got a secretary. Am I warm?
No. The secretary's still a thing.
Okay, but not a secretary. Personal assistant, posh secretary. You seem like the type who might have a handsy husband in the media.
What type is that?
Sort of, doe-eyed and helpless.
You seem like a bit of a cock.
Zoë Boehm digs into how the effort to keep Dinah out of sight is connected to her own personal tragedy. But as she and Sarah get closer to the truth, they find themselves stalked by assassins linked to a mysterious operation run out of the Ministry of Defense.
They? Well, who's they? You keep saying they.
They are more powerful than any of us, okay? They'll have been told not to protect you, but if you run off to the police, then...
What? Then what?
Then they'll know exactly where we are, and we're all fucked, including Dinah.
Emma Thompson and Ruth Wilson star in the Apple TV thriller series Down Cemetery Road. The mismatched pair find themselves in a web of cover-ups and chaos. What is the government hiding? How does a child fit into their plans? And who are the figures they encounter trying to kill them and each other? Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about plot points from Down Cemetery Road. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for our thumbs up or thumbs down reviews. So Kevin, you have a really great note as your second note here.
Okay, yeah.
And I want to give you the opportunity to talk about this because we have a really great cast in this series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially Emma Thompson, especially Ruth Wilson. But I felt as though they were playing characters that I have seen so many times before. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm sort of getting tired of the protagonist whose defining character trait is being charmingly mean to other people. Like, that's who they are.
You got a choice, Sarah. You can chuck yourself off the roof, or you can help me give Joe's life a shred of dignity and meaning, or you can help me and then you can chuck yourself off the roof. I don't give a fuck, but make up your mind, because there's no point in hanging around here confusing the gargoyles.
God, does everything you say have to be, like, really horrible?
It used to be the haunted, broken detective or cop who's, I've seen things and I'm carrying this whole thing behind, But it seems like Emma Thompson is sort of the female version of Gary Oldman's character in Slow Horses. And I guess I get that because it's the same. This is based on a book by the same author as the Slough House thing. So that's it. And then you had the guy from Department Q where it's just like, is this what a British audience is like? They like guys who are being cunty. So some of the lines were good. And I don't know, you're an iconoclast. Whatever. It's like now, to me, that thing is getting old.
Now, Toby, when this started, we get Ruth Wilson's character, Sarah, sitting in her little back room doing her little work. And then we get this charming bike ride through Oxford. It's so cute and it feels so British. And then the setup is sort of kind of like a little bit interesting. Do you think this thing started off in a promising way?
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like there were two things going on. One of which was like sort of the typical kind of a domestic thriller type thing. And that was sort of Ruth Wilson's part of it. And then there was sort of this more old school detective centered thing where it's like this guy, like this detective agency that's essentially seems like it's this guy and then his wife is off philandering. But it seems like very deliberately harkening back to like 50s detectives or something. So I was like, okay, well, this would be kind of interesting, like kind of a mashup between these two kind of popular genres. But that lasts, I don't even know how long it lasts, like a couple episodes or something, because the guy detective gets murdered and
R.I.P. Joe.
Then Emma Thompson's off philandering and stuff. And then, she gets the bit between the teeth because that's her husband, no matter how much she doesn't like him or whatever. But I think it maybe lasts like 3 episodes of the 8 episodes. And then it just turns into this like multi-episode chase, essentially.
You mean a 5-episode chase?
Yes. It's so fucking boring because you know that nothing's going to get resolved until the last episode. So you're just counting the episodes. You're like, oh shit, I got 3 more episodes where it's just going to be chasing our people around before anything gets resolved. It was just one of those things where it just got completely exasperating very, very quickly. And then it just went from bad to worse. Anyway, we don't have to get that far ahead of it.
All right, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know.
Hey.
I know, Laura.
I want to talk about this.
I know, Laura. I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. Ruth Wilson's character, Sarah. Why the hell does she care about this kid so much?
Yeah, this is the part that was like totally implausible for me. I'm like, so she has never met this kid, Dinah. She becomes obsessed with Dinah, even though she's never met her. And then she's like, well, it could be me or something. And you're
they
like,
had that quick run-in in the tunnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was just, it was a real stretch to sort of buy into, unless this lady's life was just so boring prior to this that she just was like, oh, whatever, I'm going to like hire these people and jump in and do all this. It was like, you really had to kind of suspend disbelief in a way to buy into her rationale for getting involved. But I have to say, Sarah, now I was like, where do I know her from? Oh yeah, she was in his Dark Materials show with Lin-Manuel Miranda. She was the bad villain character in that.
She was in Luther. She was in The Affair. She's been on some really good shows.
Yeah. But I mean, do any of the shows top her costuming in this show? I mean, I think that's what first stood out to me when she's on that long bike ride. She's like
all of them top this costuming.
Strange colors and like sort of just like sloppy, like she's supposed to be sort of like dowdy looking.
Yeah, from the Lost and Found bin stuff.
But in the beginning, she had on like this like weird colored outfit with pants, and you're like, what is she wearing? And then she takes the cat print thing out of the Lost and Found bin, and that thing like serves her well through the rest of this show. And I'm going to say, this whole show, if you dig into it too much, you're going to find things that are irritating and you're like, this is stupid. This doesn't make sense. But for me, I was just like, oh, look, it's pretty scenery. It's interesting. And that 5-episode chase scene, I know recently had another show where we're like, it's supposed to be a thriller and it wasn't. There's one episode in that really for me did feel like a thriller where I was concerned. And I don't know if you want me to get into it, but
it's the train episode. Super good.
The train episode was an actual, this is actually something that has me like, oh, that guy is fucking terrifying. I'm so scared of that man. Like, I don't want to meet that man anywhere. And that was an actual scene where you're like, hey, this is a game of cat and mouse. This is a thriller. But you have to suspend disbelief about a lot of the rest of it. And I'm like, well, there's pretty locations.
So guys, just wrap up one thought about Sarah from the beginning, because you both set this up. In the very first scene, what we get is that she's like this painstaking art restoration expert who is so brilliant, she can spot a forgery as it's being wheeled past her little workstation, right? So it implies that here's a character who's brilliant, right? And talented in some way. And then we just never see her act in that way at all. We never see her really being clever or sort of employing the implied strengths that she has that we see her at first. It's like, okay, I guess she can bike with both AirPods in her ears and like
superstar
not
skill.
get hit by a car or whatever. But it was just like, it seemed like we were going to get a different character, and she just kind of seemed kind of hapless throughout the rest of it.
I will say, I have never seen a show in which people get fully soaking wet in their clothes so many times as happens on this show. And I know that that's a dumb thing to focus on. It was like all I could think about half the time.
It was originally called Down Yeast Infection Road.
Yeah, they swam in their clothes. They got thrown into water in their clothes. They got rained on in their clothes. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. These clothes must smell so bad. It reminded me of, remember that horrible thing we watched that also took place on a train, Run? I think it was called.
Run. We loved the first 4 episodes.
I
hated them. Great. And then it shit the bed.
It totally shit the bed,
The worst, That's why we stopped like watching the first 3 episodes of things and reviewing them after that.
Yeah.
Because that ended up being the biggest U-turn.
Look, you got to really work hard to fuck up a train chase. I mean,
yes,
trains are just made for it.
Yes, they are.
They don't stop. They go in one direction.
They do. And also that dude Amos was like No Country for Old Men. Like he was so scary.
He was terrifying.
Yeah.
Isn't that terrifying? Because the only time he doesn't kill somebody with a gun or a bomb, he gets into a physical fight with a 70-year-old woman and gets killed.
Well, he stabbed those like 3 guys who come into his apartment. He kills all them with knife stuff.
I guess he did that. Those guys were wimps.
Yeah. He had a girlfriend though, so how bad could it have been?
Yeah.
But he's not going to see her again.
Yeah. So, Debbie, there's a weird side character in this that kind of like really sticks out to me because I can't understand what the point of having this character is other than maybe humiliation for us to watch. And that's the character of Hamza. Can you talk about that guy?
Yeah, well, he's kind of this sad sack, incompetent, like he's kind of a twat, as they say in Britain. And it's kind of uncomfortable. He's like the only South Asian character in the whole thing, as far as I can tell. A lot of the time when he's on screen, it's this sort of British aristocratic guy just giving him the business.
Where is our target?
Still in the wind, sir, but we'll find him.
I'll just reassure everyone my end. The lunatics are running the asylum.
You tell them we've got this.
Yes, and I'll add a little you go girl. Just to keep things jaunty.
And Hamza just kind of snivels and doesn't have anything really to say back to him and just kind of seems incompetent. He gets outsmarted by a child towards the end. He gets his fingers blown off and nobody seems to give a shit. He's just like this completely inept. And you're like, hey, first of all, how did you rise to the point where you're like running anything in this like super secret spy and assassination organization within the British government? Like, how did you come to power? It just was uncomfortable, right? I mean, it just kind of seemed like he was fitting into some kind of stereotype. And usually in those situations, there's some turnabout where he's shown to be like more competent, or something bad happens to the aristocratic British guy who's giving him shit the whole time. But that doesn't happen at all in this. Like the aristocratic British guy just like gets a sweet job in the private sector, and Hamza gets 3 of his fingers blown off and, you know, gets blown up with a grenade, and all kinds of bad shit happens to him. But that's after he's flummoxed by a 7-year-old with a stone. Like, throws him off her trail.
Yeah, you know what I think also made it uncomfortable is the guy berating him, who just goes by the letter C.
Serves no purpose.
No, he just is sort of like two-dimensionally mean. Like, you know, at least the Emma Thompson character is somewhat clever and tries to be entertaining. That guy is just sort of like over-the-top mean and being a dick in general. And it was kind of like, instead of making him feel sinister, he's just being, you know, a dick boss or something like that to, you know, a relatively incompetent subordinate.
Who do you have running this one? Wile E. Coyote?
Well, our man on the spot is...
A trigger-happy twat. I assume the incendiary was his idea.
It was a field decision, sir.
Oh, was it a field decision, Malik?
Yeah.
Well, I would love a heads up on what Wreck-It fucking Ralph has planned for an encore.
But there's really also no sense of sort of like, well, why is he... Like, he's apparently the point person on this whole evil, top-secret plot to burn people with phosphorus and then give them an antidote or something like that, where they need to take a pill every 6 hours or they freak the fuck out. It's like, why is this guy in charge of this? It's sort of like his motivation, other than being an asshole, is pretty much unclear. You know, and it also... That plays off like his relationship with the new defense minister. I guess he's the bad guy and not the people coming to kill people, but he didn't seem like somebody that we really understood. But you really will understand us when you join us on Patreon.
Yes.
Because we have all sorts of great things that you can connect with.
Business section.
We will not be mean. I mean, not always mean to one another at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia. You'll get exclusive content like the Crime Writers on After Show, Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast, our Married with Podcast advice show, Something's Off with Rebecca Lavoie and Mel Barrett, and Laura Bricker's Leave It to Bricker podcast. You also can get episodes of Crime Writers on early and ad-free, and if you become a deep diver, you get to be an official sponsor of Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast. Now, another way you can help us out is supporting us by shopping at our Amazon storefront. Hey, it's all of Amazon. It's just when you arrive at our page, our shopping page.
Just a starting point.
Gives you some ideas, and then you go on to the rest of the shopping that you want to do. So, like, Rebecca, if someone were to go to our shop at amazon.com/shop/crimewriterson, what would be some of this week's Amazon recommendations they'd see?
You mean something else? You mean on our page?
Yes.
Oh, you know what I love buying on Amazon? I love buying gift cards to other places on Amazon. Like, if you have somebody in your life at Christmas, like a young person, like I like Ulta Beauty, you can buy that fucking gift card on Amazon. You can buy a gift card for Home Goods on Amazon. You don't have to go to these places anymore. You can just go to Amazon and they just send it to you. It's fucking awesome.
And Toby Ball, what are your listener-inspired Toby Ball's deep cut recommendations?
I fell in love with this description, and maybe you guys can figure out why. It's the Kichi Bamboo Cutting Board, durable wood cutting board for kitchen with deep juice grooves and built-in handles, ideal charcuterie and chopping for something, MEA.
Nice.
Deep juice grooves, baby.
Yeah.
Deep juice grooves.
All right.
And this is what I like to think I would have given young 8-year-old Amos back in London when he was growing up.
A hug?
A Nerf and Strike Elite Strong Arm Toy Blaster with rotating barrel. It's an Amazon exclusive.
Looks like a Gatling gun, but it shoots.
Yeah, exactly.
Nerf darts, yeah.
All right. Does that do it for your Amazon picks?
It seems like that was enough.
Okay.
Remember to shop us first at amazon.com/shop/CrimeWritersOn. We earn commissions on qualified purchases.
All right, Kevin, do we have any Patreon patron saints of the week this week?
Our Patreon patron saints are Laura McKendrick and Megan Leisman. Bless you.
Laura and Megan, thank you so much for supporting our work. I'm really disappointed in Kevin for not having any New Year's themed patrons of the week, like he had the Christmas themed ones last time, but
what would those names be?
I don't know. Laura and Megan, you are wonderful, no matter what your last names are. So thank you for supporting us, and anyone else who wants to, we super appreciate it. Kevin, does that end the business section?
Thus ends the business section.
Laura, this show, is it trying to be funny sometimes, yes or no? Because I couldn't tell.
So here's the thing. I think there are some really funny parts where they have like quick one-liners, but it didn't connect because other parts of the show felt so intense, like the scary killer man. And so then when you get like the funny part where you have the minister, the new defense minister or whatever, and her assistant, and they're talking about how they get Voldemort vibes from that creepy sea guy, and then she says something to the effect of, I gather your predecessors left him alone to practice his dark arts. I'm like, well, that was kind of funny, but it doesn't match. It's like the tone is kind of off. So there were some great lines, like Emma Thompson's character had some like quick, witty things. There were parts where you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then there were parts where you're like, no, now this part's actually not. So I'm like, what?
Sometimes it goes one way or the other. Laura,
it didn't match. But there were parts where I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. Like I wrote that down. I was like, oh, I like that Voldemort line. That was funny. I'll use that.
Was it?
So you found one funny line in 8 hours worth of watching these people run around?
There is it's possible to be very, very dark and yet also funny. I think Slow Horses is a great example of that. Slow Horses can be deeply funny. At the same time, it can be deeply violent and really awful. So it's like, it is possible to strike that balance. I don't think this show does. So I have a question for all of you. Maybe Kevin, you can explain this to me.
Oh, I'll try.
What was the point of Dinah, period? Like, who is she related to?
Is it Dinah McGuffin? Is that her name?
She calls Mike Uncle Mike, but we're not. Do we even know who her mother is? Is that ever explained? And
but he might be her father.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
We don't.
He said he thought he might be her father at one point.
What is the point of this entire little child's existence other than to be a thing that feels like higher stakes, but we don't spend any time with her at all? So I'm just like, dude, let her go. It's fine. It'll be fine. You don't know her. I don't know her. I mean, I know that's a horrible thing to say about a fake person that doesn't exist in real life, but what was the whole point of that?
Yeah. I mean, well, part of the plot problem is that they go to such lengths to use Dinah, apparently, as bait to draw Downey out. That was the guy who kidnapped Sarah. And they seem to, like, have this plan to, I guess, draw him out, but then they don't really have any plan for, like, when he arrives. First of all, why do they got to make it so hard for Downey to find her?
Yeah, if she's bait. And why don't they just kill her and pretend she's alive? Why do they actually have to keep this little kid with a nanny in a basement?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't vote for killing the child.
They're planning to kill her anyway.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, then why at the end, like, after they get Downey, like, why is it because she's a loose end? Is that why Hosma has to, like, finish the job or what, whatever?
In his sweatpants?
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe it's just sort of like, okay, this is the writing that we're creating. I mean, it's like, I don't know if it's supposed to have real world logic or not, but we keep hearing how, like, these secret agents and assassins that they hire keep sort of like going off books. Like, okay, we're just going to blow up this house. Like, that wasn't supposed to happen. But, then walk away with, a child. Like, wouldn't you want the world to know that the child survived so then you can draw the guy out? It just seemed overly complicated and doesn't make sense. And then, like, if you want, you don't hide the worm when you go fishing, right? You put the worm out there and, like, isn't that the whole point of it? So I don't know.
The point of it was because we had to have this great buildup to going to an island that nobody thinks exists, where everybody is coming and all these various forms of transportation, boats and inflatable boats and helicopters, so they can converge on this beautifully scenic island at the same time for the big showdown. That's why we have this kid there. That was fun. Everybody's coming. I'm like, the creepy guy's got this super dark, creepy looking boat.
Yeah. Told me somebody who owned a boat, if they just, like, took an island off the map, wouldn't people be, like flying into it and boating like right into this giant rock in the middle of the water?
It happens all the time, Kevin. Yeah. You just take them off, you put them back on, you put them other places. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's all cool.
That made sense.
Yeah, I don't, that guy, what's his face? The good guy, he was there when the place was bombed. Like, they didn't have to do any of this. Like, he was literally skulking around that house that was bombed to begin with. Mm-hmm. There's just so much stuff. It's like, why did Amos's brother, like, have a relationship with that potpourri woman or whatever her name was, who was, like, Ruth Wilson's best friend, and then it turns out he's actually an assassin, but it's like, is that just a coincidence, or were they playing some kind of weird long game where they were going to have somebody have an affair with one of the neighbors so that they could do something?
That was a really fucked up.
Seemed like an odd place to put an operative.
Again, it's like, sometimes you don't need to make sense. Like, I love James Bond movies, and they don't make any fucking sense. Like, there's just like a whole bunch of shit happens, and it's kind of fun to watch or whatever.
Emma Thompson is avenging the death of a husband that she fucking hated.
Yeah, and then it's like you end up, like Laura said, you're on this, like, island with these bombed out buildings, I guess, or something. And those dudes are just like, is it just day after day they play soccer in that little courtyard? And
they just pace back and forth and play soccer.
Talk shit. And then
they
other two
have no idea an assassin, like a hardened, military soldier who's coming heavily armed to take that child, like, shouldn't they be prepared for that?
You mean the soldier who fought in the woods of Afghanistan?
The woods of Afghanistan.
To be fair, there are trees in Afghanistan.
But there are also mountains.
But they don't look anything like they looked in this. It was clearly shot in some countryside, skulking around pretending it's Afghanistan.
And then they go, like, to some church, which just happens to have grates that underfoot that lead to an underground passage that you can escape through. And I mean, the whole thing, it was so absurd, like, even on the level of this show. And it's like, oh, okay, so now fucking Emma Thompson, who's like in her 70s, is going to fight this killing machine, like person to person, like with her fists. And and somehow she's going to win that and kill him. Like, seriously, is this really what it's come to? And it was. Then we have to hear Ruth Wilson sing What's Going On by Four Non-Blondes in the car for some reason.
For no reason. Laura, do you think Emma Thompson got all that power and strength from her haircut and leather jacket?
I mean, I don't think I'm going to cut my hair short, but I might adopt that outfit. I really liked that long jacket. And it's like, this is the time of the year that I have my annual viewing of Love Actually, where we have that awful scene with Emma Thompson when she finds out her husband's cheating and she listens to that Joni Mitchell song and all that.
You mean Alan Rickman, that evil Alan Rickman?
Exactly. But I have to say, Emma Thompson, I have to say, I liked her. I liked that she could play this type of character and that she's that type of, she looked like a badass. I'm like, I want to channel some of that badassery right there.
Yeah.
You need a new hairdo.
You have a note here that I don't understand. It's the one that says there was a plot twist.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember any of this. What are you talking about?
Oh, well, when we have, what's her puss? Sarah, in the beginning, when the assassin from next door, Rufus, comes over with the dental floss that he's going to strangle her with, and you hear the shot go off, I did not know that he was the one who got killed. And you see the person with this, like, gas mask on, like, basically dismembering somebody, and it's, like, extremely gruesome and fixing everything in the house. And then you see this van going along, and you're like, oh, they're going to go dispose of her body now. But no. She's alive, and it wasn't her who got shot, and it wasn't that other guy who got dismembered. That was where I was like, maybe I missed the twist there, but I was surprised by that part. I was like, oh.
You're giving it too much credit, Laura.
That's right.
I thought it was a good plot twist. I was surprised by that. I was like, that was very clever.
Yeah, you thought you were watching a more clever movie, I think.
Kevin, you had questions about some of the locales in this. There's buses. There are churches.
At the end?
Yeah.
So where is it in Scotland, even in like rural Scotland, that a bus can just crash into your local ancient church and nobody comes running? And nobody comes running when someone throws a hand grenade into the middle of the church. And nobody comes running when it's on fire, except for your friendly neighborhood assassin, who then, as Toby will point out, will get stabbed in the eye by a 70-year-old woman who's like reaching behind her with a giant ancient nail And just so happens that the guy will fall and crack his skull, so she doesn't have to be an actual murderer.
Huh.
That was found by like an 8-year-old while she was crawling around on the floor.
Let's talk about that 5-year-old.
And then Hosmer blows his hand off, and his thing is to like say, oh, well, I'm just going to walk back to whatever. Like, gigs up, man. Just like...
sit with the bus.
Just, call
Hang out with
call
the
an
bus.
ambulance. It's fine.
There's a fucking radio in that bus.
What was wrong with the bus anyway? Did somebody cut the brake line that wasn't shown? I couldn't figure out why he couldn't stop the bus.
Was not clear. I also missed him switching places with the driver altogether. It was just so not clear. The other thing that was unclear to me, if anyone knows that trick to keep a 5-year-old that fucking quiet through all those scenarios, let me know, because I'm going to have grandkids someday, and I need to know how to keep a child that age quiet while we're being attacked by an assassin and chased.
I couldn't figure out what her story was because, like, after, like, all these people are murdered and a church is blown up and she's, like, crawling through things and, like, barely escapes death herself and all this stuff. And then she sees somebody, she's all smiles and, like...
Uncle Mike!
You should be fucking traumatized. Like, you should be in, like, the fetal position somewhere. Like, that would be more healthy.
You're going to be living with this lady that you don't know and her children who you've never met. Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to walk off with him now.
Sounds good. Never asked about her mom or dad, as far as I can remember.
Just wants her teddy bear.
Yeah, the teddy bear with the tracking device inside.
Yes. All right, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know, should they check out Down Cemetery Road on Apple TV? Laura Bricker, thumbs up or thumbs down for Down Cemetery Road?
I'm going to be in the mood. I didn't hate this, but I'm not giving it a thumbs up. I'm going thumbs sideways on this because I sat and I watched this entire series in one day, and I was like, scenery. It's somewhere in Scotland or England. I like that. Oh, look, Emma Thompson. She looks pretty badass. I like her. Oh, look, Ruth Wilson from that show I watched with Lin-Manuel Miranda. She's got some wacky outfits. And you know what? There's a lot of holes in this plot. There's things that don't add up. There are things that don't make sense. I didn't really pay attention to those. I was like, this is like when Rebecca watches trash TV. I was like, well, I can kind of get behind this. Oh, look, there's a scary scene. It's a thriller scene. They're running away from a bad person. Oh, look, now they're doing some more stuff. I was like, okay, I didn't hate it. So I am a thumbs sideways on this.
Toby Ball, thumbs up or thumbs down for Down Cemetery Road?
Yeah, I thought this was terrible. And I was going to say something about this is the worst thing I've seen in a while, but we've actually watched quite a few terrible things recently. So it's just sort of one in a string of like really shitty shows like this. I think it's one of those things where like Mick Herron's name is so big now because of Slow Horses that they were just like, let's just find anything that he's done before and like try and get some IP out of it. And so they got a book before he like figured out how to actually write good books. And they probably turned it into something that's much worse than the original book was. It doesn't make any, like nothing makes any sense. It's not even like they're plot holes. I mean, it's just nothing makes sense. It doesn't follow. Like it's like one of those games where you write a sentence and you fold the piece of paper over and you hand it to the next person and they write a sentence and they fold it over and they hand it to the next person at the end. It's like all these like disjointed sentences that can be kind of funny. But those are usually like more clever than this. The only thing I'll say is if you do watch it, you'll watch like the first 1 or 2 episodes. You'll be like, why was Toby being so harsh about this? It seems like it's not that bad. And then I'd say, well, yeah, that's fine. By the time you get to like episode 6, you're like, what exactly is going on here? And how many more episodes do I have to watch to complete this? It's a complete waste of time. I can't believe they got high-end actors to be in this. I am a thumbs down.
Kevin Flynn.
Happy New Year. This sucks ass. Yeah. I mean, I kind of appreciate, when you don't understand everything happening in the mystery right away. You're not supposed to. It's supposed to be sort of revealed bit by bit. And then you kind of find out what's going on in maybe episode 3 or 4. And the rest of it is just cut to the chase. And it ends up sort of being very dull and, with a whole bunch of things that really weren't engaging. Yeah, you got a couple of interesting performers here who aren't given like a bunch of great stuff. I think you need to come up with characters that are more than just mean to people in a funny way that makes them supposed to be endearing because they're being kind of a cunt. It's like, okay, And by cunt, I mean it in the British sense.
It's the same word, Kevin.
I know, but they use it differently. Like,
they use it the same. They just think about it differently.
I'm just saying, if I said something was bloody horrible, like, it's not really a swear to us. It's kind of hits differently. But anyway, I'll just say that was the most interesting thing about Down Cemetery Road was that discussion that Rebecca and I just had there.
About the word cunt?
About the word cunt or twat. They use that too. I was like, oh,
twat?
That's twat. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so all that filthiness aside, this wasn't really very good. It certainly looked like that it could be, but it just never really got off the ground. So thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs down for me too. This is really bad. This is the kind of show where you have to fight to not pick up your phone and do something on it while you're watching the show.
I lost
too. I had to, it was a real battle. It was a real battle. Sometimes, every 1 second screens it. Sometimes I do that while we're watching things, and I can still enjoy the thing, but occasionally, swipe down and see if there's anything new on Twitter or whatever. This wasn't that. This was me looking in the archive of crossword puzzles in the New York Times Games app to do an old one, because I had done all the ones for that week and the week before. It's so bad. And Kevin, I kept thinking about, how a couple weeks ago, and this is going to be a spoiler for a thing we reviewed a couple weeks ago, and All Her Fault, when you said the thing really slowed down or changed or got bad after the kid came back. See, I didn't mind that at all, because at least it broke up. For a very mediocre thing, it kind of broke it up. There was this part and then there's this part. This was literally like a 6-episode chase. And it wasn't like The Americans, which is a 6-season chase, because that also had all this intricate other plot shit happening. It wasn't like other things where, sort of the premise is a chase. It wasn't the Blues Brothers, right? Where you have all these great side quests along the way. Nothing like that. They're always running. They're always wet. It's all I can think about. The clothes are horrible. Emma Thompson's hair should not look like that after everything she's been through, including swimming in the ocean. I'm not a fan of this at all. Not a fan.
After avoiding a bunch of landmines, yeah.
She swam in the ocean and came out with spiky hair. Did anyone else pick up on that?
Yeah,
no.
I picked up on that, yeah.
It's a piece of shit. All right. That's going to do it for us. But before we go, Laura Bricker, do we have a cat of the week this week?
We have another dog for you, Rebecca.
Hell yeah.
Christian Shrimpy in our official Crime Writers On podcast discussion group is fostering a dog over the holidays. The dog is very cute. It's in a little Christmas outfit in front of a Christmas tree. Looks like it might be a cross between a golden retriever and maybe some other St. Bernardi kind of thing. But I appreciate any sort of holiday-themed animal photos that are sent my way this time of year, including, check out in our discussion group, the video of the dogs in the nativity scene.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes. Super fun.
Yeah.
So
you know what's funny about that? You notice how there's a whole part of the population when anything is sort of doing the imagery of Jesus Christ, their Lord and Savior, they'll say that's sacrilegious, that's whatever. Not when dogs do a nativity scene. That seems completely inoffensive to people. It's amazing. So amazing. All right, Laura Bricker, folks want to reach out to you online and send you their nominations for Animal or Cat of the Week. How can they find you?
You can find me at Laura Bricker on Instagram and Blue Sky.
What about you, Toby Ball? How can you be found online?
First, I want to give a quick shout out to my nephew and his wife for their new baby. Who
Baby Toby?
is either a boy or a girl. Not sure as of this taping, but by the time this actually hits, we will know. So congratulations to them. You can find me on Blue Sky at TobyBallNH and on Instagram at TobyBall603.
What about you, Kevin?
I'm at Kevin P. Flynn.
You can join our Facebook discussion group by finding us on Facebook and hitting the link to join the group. And you can find the show everywhere else at Crime Writers On. That includes Instagram and YouTube and Blue Sky and TikTok. You can find me everywhere at Reb Lavoie and, of course, on Something's Off, my new YouTube podcast. Get everything we make on Patreon at patreon.com/partnersincrime-media. We make an ad-free version of the show that comes out a day or two early for those of you joining the $15 level. We super appreciate you all. Our theme song was composed and performed by Tyler Gibbons, and our editor is the really wonderful Livy Burdett. Livy, happy holidays. The EP of this show is Kevin Flynn. This show is recorded in the Caitlin Rogers Project Studio, also known as Studio C, the closet in our New Hampshire basement, where we also are ready for an impromptu game of Bananagrams. On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later.
Happy anniversary! But it seems like Emma Thompson is just the female version of Gary Coleman's...
Gary Oldman.
Yeah,
Gary Coleman.
Yeah.
What
Let's
you
try
talking
that one
about,
again.
Willis?
Those would be short horses, not
Short
slow
horse.
horses.
Partners in Crime Media.